Hey guys, Matt Williams from Foundation Defense. Hey, after I did the ammunition video, I got a few messages asking me, well, what brand of gun should I buy then? If I think I want to buy this caliber, what brand should I buy? That's a Coca-Cola, Pepsi, Nike, Reebok question, right? Some of it comes right down to your opinion and some of the ergonomics, right? So the way I break it down is like this. Is the brand, is it easy for me to get one? Is it easy for me to get extra magazines? And are they expensive? In my mind, anything over like 35 bucks is pretty expensive. I mean, considering if you're a Glock owner, you can buy magazines anywhere up to like 28 bucks and down as low as 18. So it just depends. I also like, who makes aftermarket supplies for like accessories for them? Is it easy to get a holster? So if you go buy a High Point, you're probably not going to find a holster that's made for a High Point. If you want aftermarket sights, you want a different trigger shoe. If you want whatever, if you need springs, pins, anything that does wear out, okay, and magazines also are, they're a perishable item. Like they wear out, they go bad. Or you drop them, you dent them, you step on them, you break them, springs go bad, floor plates come flying out, anything, right? So can you get magazines? Is there good aftermarket support? And then another question is, who uses these professionally? Okay, if no state police are using it, no special operations type unit is using it, and I don't even mean just military. I mean like any of the special groups like, I don't know, HRT and SWAT. So HRT is hostage rescue team. Anything like that. If no one is using it, so that would be like, probably don't want to go buy a Jennings, right? I'm probably going to get some hate from some people over this. I don't care. It's not my opinion. It's provable. Don't go buy a Springfield XD. They are proven to fail. It's not my opinion. It's something we can back up with facts, okay? And it has to be reliable. And reliable, I realize, and I do understand that that is a relative term to some people. Well, I went and ran a whole magazine through my gun and it ran flawlessly. If any time I hear someone say flawlessly, it's a pretty good indicator for me that it's not someone who spends a lot of time on the shooting range or in classes, okay? Now, also, if you go to the shooting range all the time and all you're doing is making noise and creating empty brass, you're not doing anything except making noise and creating empty brass. If you're not going to classes and learning the things that you take with you to work on at the range, then you're not training. You're just shooting your gun. And there's nothing wrong with marksmanship practice. You should definitely, be able to shoot the gun proficiently. So in my mind, it's not, it ran a whole magazine, it ran 100 rounds. Your gun needs to under stress, which is in a class under someone else's time. And if you've never been to a class, you might ask, well, what does that matter? What does that mean? It means I want you to put, let's just say, 5 rounds through your gun, switch magazines, and put 4 more in, and you've got 8 seconds to do it. Or 10, whatever. I'm just making this up as I go. But it puts stress on you, which puts stress on the gun. It shows you where you have deficiencies and where your equipment, whether it's your holster, the placement of your holster, you have a crappy gun belt, or there are issues with the ergonomics of your gun, or the reliability of the gun. So for me, you need to be able to run 500 rounds through that gun, have the gun shoot reliably under someone else's time constraints. Now, that could be you and a friend doing drills back and forth, or something like that, but not just one magazine, bling, 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 another magazine, bang, bang, bang. That's not the same thing. So for me, when that question is asked of me, as long as we're talking about something that is in the mid-size range, I always steer people towards Glock, Smith & Wesson M&P series. I do personally like the CZ series of like the P10C is something I personally like. It's not for everyone, and I realize that. I'm not a big fan of SIG. I'm just not. But people do like them, and they tend to be reliable. I know that, you know, every gun company has an issue here and there. They all do. There's no one gun that has been perfect always forever. I mean, Glock Perfection has been saying Glock Perfection since Gen 1. Now they're on Gen 5. Okay, so clearly it's not perfect. They're always working to make things better, as all gun companies should. But for the most part, I'd say Glock, Smith & Wesson M&P, CZ, and SIG. I know FN, a lot of people like FN. I don't know what their prices are like for magazines and aftermarket parts. I've never owned one. I've barely shot them. So for me to say anything I don't have any basis to say. Let's see. HKs, in my opinion, I don't even know if this is an opinion. You can actually like fact check this. They're overpriced for what you're getting. Okay, they just are. Anything that says HK on it is going to be expensive. Whether it's sights or magazines, it's going to be expensive. They also have the worst resale value of any gun, followed closely by SIG, who's the second worst resale value. So I talked to a buddy of mine at the local gun shop, and I asked him what were the things in the last couple of weeks, like what went fast. He said, any and all of the Glock 9mm, so like I talked about earlier, 9mm, and shotguns, 12 gauge in particular. So I'll be talking about shotguns in the next couple days. Tomorrow I will have the owner of Defensive Mechanisms on the show. I'm not sure if it's going to be on Facebook or if it's going to be on YouTube finally. We'll just see. It's going to be, I think, 8 o'clock Michigan time. So, you know, check that out. I'll have a link up for it soon. But anyway, guys, that's it. There is no one size fits all. But something that is nice that I didn't mention, if you get one of these polymer guns and you don't plan on selling it, if it doesn't feel good in your hand, something that I get it, especially if it's your first gun, you don't want to do this, but take that slide in the barrel off, recoil strength, all that crap. Obviously, make sure it's not loaded, blah, blah, blah. I shouldn't have to say all that, but I do. Get out your rotary tool and just undercut that trigger guard. Shave off those goofy finger grips on the frame, or whatever it is that will help make the gun more comfortable for you. I do it with all my Glocks because I hate how they feel. I love how they perform. Also, it's not the only gun that I carry or shoot. So anyway, guys, this is Matt Williams, Foundation Defense. Thanks for watching. Stay safe.